So on homework 33, we're starting out graphing an exponential function, should say, and its asymptote. On these ones here, they are going to have a horizontal and vertical shift to them. So first thing we're going to do is, if we made this 0, our x value is going to be 4 up there. So we're going to evaluate and find the point where we have e to the 0 power. So 4 minus 4 would give us 0. E to the 0 power is going to equal 1. 1 times 1/3 obviously is 1/3. Then 1/3 plus 3, 3 and 1/3. We're only going to do one other point, and that one other point will just be the next number higher than what we have here. So in this case, we're going to put a 5 in there, which is going to give us e to the first power. And so our y value is going to look really weird, but you're going to be able to punch it in on Alex and it will figure out what the decimal equivalent is. And so what I'm going to have is 1/3 e plus 3. Because if I put the 5 here, we'll have e to the first, which is just e. And so we're just going to type in 1/3 e plus 3, and Alex will put that on there. Our asymptote, normally our asymptote is along the x-axis, but since this graph is going to shift up 3, our asymptote is going to be at 3. So I'm just going to draw my asymptote in there. 4 is at 3 1/3, so it's just a little bit above that. And if I find a calculator somewhere, you don't have to figure out what that is, but so we can plot it, I'm going to go ahead and figure out what that is. 1/3 e to the, just e to the first power plus 3 is 3.9, approximately anyway. So 5 is up at 3.9, so just a little bit higher. And then when you hit the graph button, it's going to put your graph in there, and it's going to look something sort of like that. So when you're graphing those ones with the shift, you'll just use 2 points, one where you have e to the 0 power and one where you have e to the first power, and then put your asymptote on there. So on number 2 there, what would we want to start with for our x value? -3, exactly. -3 plus 3 would give me 0. E to the 0 is 1. 1 times 4 gives me the 4 in front, and then just 4 minus 1, which is 3. So if we use -3 for our first x value, the next number bigger than that would be -2. And when you put the -2 in there, you're just going to have the 4e minus 1. That would just give you e to the first. My asymptote would be at -1. So I'll sketch my asymptote on there at -3. We're up to 3. And then 4e minus 1 would be equal to about 9.8. 9.9 actually. So at -2, we're up at 9.9, and this graph is going to look something sort of like that when you hit the graph button. So on the third one, our first x value would be at 2. And if we put 2 in for x, we would get 2 2/3, exactly. Then we're going to put what in for x? 3 in for x, and for y then we're going to have Exactly. 2/3 e plus 2. So basically it's just getting rid of that exponent because it's making it to the first power where we don't have to put to the first in there. Our asymptote is going to be at positive 2. And so if we go to 2 and 2 2/3, say that's about there. If I do 2/3 e to the first power plus 2, I would get 3.8. So 3 is at about 3.8. And so our graph, again, will look something sort of like that.